Ecclesiastes chapter 9, One Destiny for All. For all this I laid on my heart, and to ascertain all this, that the righteous and the wise, as well as their works, are in the hand of God. Whether love or hatred, no one knows. Everything awaits them. Everyone shares the same destiny, for the righteous and the wicked, for the good, the ritually clean and the defiled, for the one who sacrifices and the one who does not sacrifice, as the good person, so the sinner, as the one who swears, like the one who fears an oath. Thus is misery in everything done under the sun, that the same destiny awaits everyone. Moreover, the hearts of all humans are full of evil, and folly is in their hearts during their lives. After that they die. Everyone who is among the living has hope. Even a living dog is better off than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward. Even the memory of them is forgotten. Their love, their hatred, and their zeal have already perished. Never again will they have a share in anything that is done under the sun. Go, eat your bread with gladness, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already accepted your deeds. Let your clothes always be white, and do not spare oil on your head. Live joyously with the wife whom you love all the days of your fleeting life that he has given you under the sun during all your fleeting days. For this is your portion in life and in your toil that you labor under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your strength, for there is no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol where you are going. I further observed under the sun, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the mighty, nor does bread come to the wise, or wealth to the discerning, or favor to the skillful, for time and chance befall them all. Moreover, no man knows his time. Like fish caught in a fatal net, or birds caught in a snare, so people are trapped in a time of calamity that falls upon them and suddenly. I also observed this as wisdom under the sun, and it greatly impressed me. There was a little city with a few people in it, and a mighty king came against it, surrounded it, and built great siege and work against it. Now a poor wise man was found in it, and it delivered to the city by his shrewdness. Yes, nobody remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than strength, but the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heeded. The words of the wise, heard in quiet, are better than a ruler's shout among fools. Wisdom is better than the weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Wisdom and folly. Dead flies make a perfumer's oil stink, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. The heart of the wise is to his right, and the heart of the fool to his left. Even as the fool walks along the way, his heart lacks sense and tells everyone what a fool he is. If a ruler's spirit rises up against you, do not leave your post, for composure allays great offenses. There is wrong I have seen under the sun, like an error proceeding from a ruler. Fools are placed in many high positions, while the rich sit in low ones. I have seen slaves on horses and princes walking on the ground like slaves. Whoever digs a pit may fall into it, and whoever breaks through a fence may be bitten by a snake. Whoever quarries a stone may be hurt by them, and whoever splits logs may be endangered by them. If the iron axe is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, then he must exert more force. So wisdom has the advantage of giving success. If the snake bites before it is charmed, there is no profit for the charmer. Words from the mouth of the wise are gracious, but the lips of a fool destroy him. The words from his mouth begin as folly, and end as a grievous madness, and the fool multiplies words. No one knows what will happen, and who can tell him what will happen after him? The mischief of fools wearies them, for he doesn't know how to go to town. Oi to you, O land, when your king is a youth, and your princes feast in the morning. Happy are you, O land, when your king is a son of nobles, and your princes eat at the proper time, in self-control, not in drunkenness. By laziness the rafters sag, and by idle hands the house leaks. A feast is made for laughter, and wine makes life glad, but money is the answer for everything. Do not ridicule the king, even in your thoughts, nor curse the rich in your bedroom. For a bird of the air may carry your voice, and a winged creature may report your words. Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Wisdom of the long view. Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it. Give portions to 7, or even to 8, for you do not know what disaster may happen upon the earth. If the clouds are full, they empty out rain upon the earth. Whether a tree falls to south or north, a tree lies wherever it falls. Whoever keeps watching the wind will not sow, and whoever gazes at the clouds will not reap. Just as you do not know how the spirit passes into the bones in the womb of a pregnant woman, so you do not know how the work of God who makes all things. In the morning you sow your seed, and in the evening do not let your hand be idle. For you do not know if this or that will succeed, or if both will prosper together. Light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to see the sun. For if a man lives many years, let him rejoice in them all, but let him remember the days of darkness, if there will be for there will be many. Everything to come is obscure. Rejoice, young man, in your childhood, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart and in the sight of your eyes, but know that for all these things God will bring you to judgment. So banish anxiety from your heart and cast off distress from your body, for youth and prime of life are fleeting. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, Ode for the Aging. So remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of misery come and the years draw near, when you will say, I have no pleasure in them, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds dissipate after the rain, in the day of the keepers of the house of tremble, and the strong men stoop, when grinders stop because they are few, and those peering at the windows grow dim, when doors are shut in the street, and the sound of the mill fades, when one arises at the chirp of a bird, and all their songs grow faint, when they are also afraid of heights and of the dangers on the road, and the almond tree blossoms, and the grasshopper drags itself along, and the caperberry falls to excite, for a man is going to his eternal home, and mourners go about in the street before the silver cord is snapped, or the golden bowl is crushed, or the jug of the cistern is shattered, or the well is broken, then the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Evanescent and vapors, says Kohelet, all is futility. Conclusion, fear God. Furthermore, Kohelet was not only wise, but he also taught the people knowledge. He pondered, sought out, and set in order mighty proverbs. Kohelet searched to find delightful words and truthful, accurate sayings. The words of the wise are like goads. Their collective sayings are like firmly affixed nails. They have been given one by shepherd. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. There is no end. The making of many books and excessive study wearies the flesh. A final word, when all has been heard, fear God and keep his mitzvot, for this applies to all mankind. God will bring every deed into judgment, including everything that is hidden, whether it is good or evil. Esther chapter 1. Persian king's banquet. This is what happened in the days of Ahasuerus, the Ahasuerus who reigned over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. At that time, King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne in the castle in Shushan in the 3rd year of his reign. He gave a banquet for all his princes and his servants. The military leaders of Persia and Media, plus the nobles and officials of the provinces, were present. He displayed the vast wealth of his kingdom and the splendor of his glory of his majesty for many days, 180 days. When these days were over, the king gave a banquet lasting 7 days in the garden court of the king's palace for all the people who were present in the place of Shushan, for both the greatest to the least. There were white and blue linen curtains hung by cords of fine linen and purple and silver rings and marble columns, gold and silver couches on a mosaic pavement of alabaster, marble, mother of pearl, and minerals. Wine was served in golden goblets, each of which was different from the other. And the royal wine was abundant according to the king's wealth. In keeping with the law, there was no restrictions in eating on drinking, for the king had instructed the supervisors of his household to comply with each person's desire. In addition, Queen Vashti held a banquet for the women in the royal palace of King Ahasuerus. Vashti refuses to appear. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry from the wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bezetha, Harbona, Bigtha, Abagatha, Zethar, and Carcas, the 7 eunuchs who attended Ahasuerus, the king, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing the royal crown. He wanted to show the peoples and the officials her beauty, for she was very attractive, but Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, conveyed by the eunuchs. Then the king became furious and burned with anger. So the king consulted the wise men who discerned the times, for it was the king's practice to consult experts in matters of law and justice. Those closest to him were Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Maris, Marsena, Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia, and Media, who had access to the king's presence and were the highest in the kingdom. By law, what is to be done with Queen Vashti for failing to obey the commands of King Ahasuerus conveyed by the eunuchs? Then Memucan answered the presence of the king and the princes, Queen Vashti has wronged not only the king, but also all the princes and all the peoples who were in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's conduct will go out to all the women, making their husbands contemptible in their eyes, by saying King Ahasuerus commanded Queen Vashti to be brought up before him, but she would not come. This very day, the noble women of Persia and Media who had heard the matter concerning the queen will respond similarly to all the king's princes, and there will be no end to the contempt and anger. If it pleases the king, let a royal commandment go forth from him, and let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, which cannot be repealed, that Vashti may not come into the presence of King Ahasuerus, and that the king give her royal status to another who is more worthy than she. And the king's edict, which he will enact, will be proclaimed throughout all his vast kingdom, and all the wives will give their husbands honor from the greatest to the smallest. The matter pleased the king and the princes, so the king did according to the word of Memucan. Then he sent letters throughout all of the royal provinces, to each province in his own script, and to each people in his own language, that every man should be in charge of his own household and speak the language of his own people.